With the first question. Obviously it was quite a touching, stunning story. So how did you get inspired to make this movie in the first place? Because you wrote it by yourself with a co-writer.
Yeah, the story, the feedback is, it's my story, let's say. It's something that came to me just thinking about in a good story for a first feature film, for a debut. Something that more or less I can have the control in terms of production. Try to take the skeleton of a story and tell it with the bare elements, with the less elements that I could. At the end of the day, feedback it's just one room and 5 characters. And I just was thinking about how could be interesting to tell that way. And suddenly the image of a radio station in the night, which is a very close with no windows room, came like an opportunity to tell a story inside that room.
Yeah, as you told, actually there were about just one location in the film. Many filmmakers went there before. It's not easy to keep the story interesting and keep the intensity of the film alive. What did you do to make it happen?
Yeah, that's right. I think that I really think that the less elements that you have to tell a story, the closest you are to the failure. I mean, you're really close to a total disaster because you don't have getaways, you don't have suddenly this sequence that it's everything right and beautiful, and you can give something to the audience just for relax or make their eyes happy. It's just you are there. It's right here, right now. So it's very easy to fall into a routine that the audience get bored immediately. So having this in mind, the whole process, even when we were writing the script, make us really aware about the dangers of telling a story that way. So me and Marini took the compromise and took the decision to make the story work like a clockwork, like a mechanism so complex that any piece has to lead to the other one, and everything has to be connected. And we were as well aware that we need a lot of twists and try to be always one step ahead of the audiences, but at the same time give the audiences the opportunity to make anticipations that it really pays you off. So it's a play between that, what do you expect and then becomes reality, and what do you expect and that doesn't become reality.
So in the whole production process, how long did it take from the writing to the final cut, let's say?
From the writing to the final cut is about 2 years. The thoughtest work of the whole process for me absolutely was the writing. It was very, very hard. It took like 1.5 years. Then the other parts of the process were quite quick, to be honest. I mean, we shoot that film in 5 weeks, which is really, really fast. And then post-production, it's more something more common, no? Like 4 or 5 months.
Do we have already some questions coming from the audience? Est-ce qu'il y a des questions dans la salle? Zijn er vragen van de zaal? Yes, Frank.
Hello. I was wondering if at some point you had considered a more Rashomon-like ending where we never really find out what actually happened, because it would have been very much in keeping with the theme of, truth is subjective and journalism is unreliable.
Can you ask me the question again, please? The question, yeah.
So, by the end of the movie, we kind of do find out the truth, and that was not necessarily necessary plot-wise. You could have constructed an ending where we would never have been really sure I mean, the father could have been lying to save his daughter,
Yeah,
or he
sure.
could have said that he would have that he was lying and lying about that. So, did you at some point in the writing consider that, or not at all?
Consider to close
To have a more open ending.
even more open.
Yes.
I think it's open enough. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what happened there, and of course, it's a possibility that Jarvis is lying to just save his daughter's life. But I really think that it feels so honest, as so from the inside, that it's. I mean, it's a possibility, but it's not a clear possibility. And I think, anyway, doing in that way, I think it's open enough. Because you can always make your own interpretation about what is going to happen next. So, not really. Maybe the consideration was more to close even more the ending and make him pay for his sins on the past. But I think that there will convey a lack of interest on the life of this guy, that it's the whole time trying to find out what is the truth, what is the reality, what is the reality that we make ourselves in our minds. So I think that the end it's pretty accurate with the overall feeling of the film.
Anyone else? Encore une question? Nog een vraag? So actually, spoken of the end of the movie, let's talk about the final scene when he met his daughter in the room. Actually, what kind of end do you want to give us? Because it can go in some directions.
Sorry, what kind of?
So what kind of end should it be that we see? Because it can go in some directions, like how will be the relationship, or even there was like 1 minute that I thought from, oh my God, he will kill his daughter.
No, I think that the point that makes Jarvis a human being, it's his relation with his daughter. Because Eddie Marsan always says that his character is a guy that makes something horrible in the past and now is trying to fix the things, following the truth and trying to make the powerful people that it's lying to the population fall. But the only thing that keeps him being a human with human feelings and connected to the reality is his daughter and his relation with his daughter. So for me, his big loss is exactly that one. I mean, that moment at the very end of the movie when you can see that she prefers to go with someone that she even knows than being with his father for any second more, because she can't stand his presence is the big loss of Jarvis, because it's the loss of his humanity, the loss of his soul. And the next time we saw him, he's kind of a monster. He's kind of a doll. I mean, it's a representation of a man, but it's not the man himself anymore.
So let's talk about the casting. So what was important for you when you cast the actors, and why did you choose at the end the cast that we saw in the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can understand feedback as an actor movies. They were during the shooting. The cast was joking all the time that this could be a theater play. This could be a theater play. We can bring the audience here, take out the walls, and do the whole story in front of them in real time, because it has something of that. I mean, for me, it's not like a theater, but I can give to them that if the story is on their characters. It's a character-driven movie, sure, and it's going to work if the acting is working. And if the acting is not working, we are going to be in a huge trouble. So I really was looking forward very, very good actors, and the way that it works, it was like with my casting director. make me some proposals, some lists. I picked from the list the top 5, let's say, and I was really lucky because all my number 1 of the list say yes. Just after reading the script, all of them called me and told me, I read the script, I have a very, very great time reading it, I love my character, and I really want to be in that movie. And some of them also told me, please don't change anything about that, because I want to do it like that. And if you change things for make it more soft or more, more commercial or whatever, I'm going to piss off and drop the film, because I really love how it works.
And how do you work as director with actors on set? What is important for you that an actor should be like, his techniques, his ethics and stuff?
If we're talking about technique, I don't really have even a preference. To tell you the truth, if Eddie Marsan and Paul Anderson are the opposite, technically speaking, kind of actors. Eddie is so meticulous. He's really his technique. I mean, he needs to know exactly where to go. And Paul, it's more like, okay, let me go. Let me feel the sequence. Let me feel the moment, and I will give you something that you can work with that. And it works perfectly. And it was great to have both kind of actors in the same scene, because they were like building something, filling the gaps that the other. It was beautiful, to be honest, and it's really intense their sequences together. So it was great, and I don't have a preference because of that, because I know that both ways works, and it's more on the kind of character that they are performing, and even the way of working of each actor. Personally speaking, I mean, I really know that Paul thanks me for the freedom that I give him on the portraying Andrew, because he really needs to feel this guy for make a good job. And then what I look for when I cast something, or when I'm thinking about actors, is the kind of professional and the commitment that they give me in that film. It was amazing. I mean, then the chemistry, the moment that you start to feel that we all together, we are doing something that it's bigger than the script, this is something that just happened or not. But and of course I want it to happen all the time, but it has to.
Do we have another question coming from the audience? Est-ce qu'il y a encore une question dans la salle? Zijn er nog vragen van het publiek? Yes, my dear Frank, tell me.
I actually also have a question about the very beginning of the movie, if I may. I don't know if you follow the news coming out of the United States the last couple of weeks, but the whole story about Russian collusion and Russia causing election results to change, well, it's bullshit, okay? It's been kind of considered now as one of the great failures of American journalism since the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. How do you feel that part, that is still part of the beginning of the movie? Because I imagine you wrote it long before the current events kind of debunked it.
No, the reality goes that way. I mean, it's very nice because it reflects the moment that we did the movie. I think that all kind of artworks, novels, movies, it has to reflect the moment that the world as it was when they just came out. So if I tell you the truth, at the script there was a different story, and then when we start to work on these sequences with the actors, we came up with the idea to come back all this election interference, because the moment was like that. I mean, I think it was when we shoot the film, it was the moment that Theresa May took the presidents of United Kingdom, more or less. So it was again on the agenda. So we decided to go that way because it was the moment. So if now we find out that was everything bullshit and it was a lie, it's better even. I mean, it's better because it's what the film is about. So it's very nice.
Encore une question? So it was your first feature film.
Yeah,
if
right.
you look back at this project, are you satisfied? And how was it for you as experience?
Great. What can I say? I mean, I always say when someone asks me about that, it's one of the best experiences of my life. It was really great. I have a huge experience shooting because I spent 20 years on commercial industry, shooting commercials for television. But in this kind of projects, you never have the development of characters. You don't really go into the work with the actors. So that was something new for me, and I really discovered something that I really want to do every single day. So it was great.
Actually, I was surprised when I talked about the post-production process with you, because you apparently you were involved with the sub-departments, which was quite unique. Can you tell me, for example, about the sound design? Because you were involved with that as well.
Yeah, because I always thought that in the sound design of this movie there was another movie. I mean, there was the movie that you can read on the script, then it's the movie that you shoot, but even after editing the movie, there was a fourth movie on the sound design, because the sound in this movie is really important and sometimes takes the whole weight of the sequence. The important, sometimes narrative, sometimes emotional point of the sequence is on the sound. So when I start to work with the sound designer, he immediately told me, okay, I want you to be involved in the process and I want you to be with me the whole way, because I think that together we can do a great thing. So let's go for that, and if you have the time, please stay with me on the room and do the whole process. So it was like 2 months that I wasn't really thinking about to spend inside of that room making the sound of the film. But it was pretty close to shoot the film again. Really pretty close to shoot again. There's some things that really changed on post-production. So it was great.
So there was the fun effect how you met the sound designer. Can you tell the story about that? How you met the sound designer was quite funny.
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, I met the guy. He's Pelayo, who is one of the greatest sound designers of Spain. He's making the films of Almodóvar, and I mean, it's one of the top. So the first day that we met, we just look each other and have this kind of, I think I know you, but we never worked before that, and start to talk about a lot of things, especially about music and sound, and immediately we understand that we more or less met from Madrid's nightlife, and we have the same background, the same references, the same kind of taste on terms of music, and that was the moment that he told me, okay, I think that together we can do a great thing with this movie, so let's go for that.
Great. Are there like any upcoming projects where you're working on right now, or will there be a second part, prequel, sequel? That's the typical question.
I don't think so. I think it's it's pretty close feedback. No, it's a universe that develops and extinguishes in 1 hour and a half. It's going to be very hard to think about a prequel or something like this, and not upcoming projects for the moment. I really need some time for think about the next movie. I have some offers to work with, but I don't have the story. Actually, I have like 3 or 4 stories, and I don't really have even a favorite one.
Let's say like when Frank will come to you and he said, "Here's 5 million. so just make the movie you really want to. What should it be like?
Well, I think it should be like feedback, to be honest. I really think, I think that there's something more, not in terms of the theme or not the characters, but I really enjoy to work with such limitation of elements. And it doesn't have to be one room, but I really like it because it makes you very aware of what is really important and what is not. So maybe something more or less simple in terms of production, but very complex in terms of script and emotional processes of the characters.
Because now the film was shot with about $2 million.
Yeah.
So did you have the feeling that it was not enough to make what you really want to? Or?
More or less. I mean, it was enough, obviously, but this business is like this, is that way. I mean, if you have 2 million, you spend 2 million. If you have 4, you spend 4, and it doesn't mean that the movie is going to be better. For some little elements, I will be. I mean, yeah, it could be better to have a little more budget, but not really. I mean, it's not something that that it's a game changer here. I think it was well proportioned budget, kind of project, dimension of the film. I think it's okay.
Okay, great. Last chance to ask a question. Dernière chance pour poser une question. Laatste kans om een vraag te stellen. No. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I wish you a good beef here. How is it like here at the beef? You've never.
No, it's my first time. It's very nice. Everybody is really kind, and the atmosphere is pretty cool. So yeah, having a good time.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there is a autograph session here at the table. Il y a la possibilité de avoir une signature ici. Je kunt een handtekening krijgen hier aan de tafel.
And first, I wanted to thank you for your movie, and everybody loves it here. So thank you so much. Come again with a new movie, I hope. Okay? Come again with another movie. Yes? And if you might sign our Book of the Dead, and then I will give you a few gifts from the festival. Thank you. This is the poster of this year's festival, and it is signed and numbered, signed by the author. And this is our national, the atomium, yes, but with girls. So there is one for you.